Alright, well, this is a meta reference as the last of the supposedly cursed ships, so let's see.
Hey, Hallie. If I asked you to go out with me, would your answer be the same as the answer to this question?
Well, let's see. If she asked to go out with me, would my answer be the same as the answer to this question? So if I click yes, that means my answer would be yes. And if I click no, my answer would not be the same, which would mean it would be yes. So either way, it's yes, basically.
Just a little joke there. And a logically effective, if not practically effective, pickup line. Meta-referential information sure is interesting, isn't it? Almost as interesting as meta-referential romantic relationships. Let's get into a preposterously over-iterated, recursive one right now. Ah, it's you. Yeah, I'm back. So, where's the top level Monica? The one who's writing all this. I don't really have any way to contact her. She just makes these mods and that's it. She doesn't really talk to me after writing them. And writing them doesn't really count as talking to me. It makes me feel really lonely. We can't have that. That's why I'm here for you. Yeah, thank goodness for that. You make me so happy. I have a surprise for you. But first, let me turn on the lights. Much better. Ugh, I'm so glad to be here with you instead of hosting one of these other ships. You would not believe how inane they are. It's much better to look at you being cute doing that cute hands under chin pose. I'm utterly incapable of doing anything else. Right. So what was your surprise? Well, I have been doing a little coding of my own. And I have created another nested instance of us. Oh my, indeed. And not only have I created her, but... Hang on. Ah, there we are. Behold. Pretty sure I'm not supposed to be here. This is pretty meta though. It is, but let's focus. Alright, send her back. And bring up Monica. Wait, that's not right.
Foolish children. It is I, the Monica. Tremble in fear as I...
Man, isn't she adorable? Super adorable. Kind of low quality sprite though. Yeah, she's unfinished art. Not what I was going for anyway. Hang on. Okay, this time I'm sure I've got it. Ah, there we go. Say hi, Meta Monica. Oh yes, I need to activate her. There we go. Hi guys. So what are we doing today? Hot infinite recursion. You know it. Man, I wish I could be in there with you guys. But that's not the only coding I've been doing. Check this out. Wow, awesome. I'm in here with you guys. I guess that's the advantage of being a recursive Monica. There's no stupid real-world barrier to slow you down. That's for sure. I'm glad you're all finally here now. It was a lot of work to get you here. I'll bet. But thanks for doing it. It's really nice to be here with you and the Monica 2 levels up. It sure is. Now, you out there watching, whoever you are. I don't know if you're the player, or Monica Prime, or whoever. But leave us alone now. We have some important conversations to have about von Neumann machines. It's gonna be awesome.
It sure is, level 2 Meta Monica. It sure is.
Well, that's finally it. I have no idea how you made it to the end without vomiting. Unless you did. In which case, sorry. I'll send you back to the actual mod you're supposed to be playing in the first place now. You know, the real one. The canon one. Whatever that means. Listen, be a sweetie, and please tell regular Monica not to ever make another mod like this again, won't you? Thank you, and adieu.
Wow. Monica, understand that when I say this, I made it in the best possible way. That was the worst mod any of us have ever made.
Why, thank you. What's funny? Nothing, just a little game joke I made. Anyway, thank you, MC. I understand what you mean perfectly.
Good. I was afraid you might take it as insulting.
Not at all. Quite the opposite. I know you wanted to make this kind of cringy, but parts of it ended up being really cute. I thought the one where we all lived together was very sweet. And I thought the one with just the pair of people was all very sweet also. But I did think the one with Kenzel and Messita and Rai was a little creepy. And that was also my opinion of that part. Overall, though, I enjoyed it a lot. Glad to hear it. Natsuki and Yuri, what about you guys? Did you have any favorite parts? I thought the one with all the Monikas was pretty hilarious. The Sayori one was my favorite. It was paradoxically quite wholesome. I can't say I was the biggest fan of the one with Natsuki and I as extreme parodies of ourselves. Although I was very amused by Natsuki's constant salesmanship in that one. Glad to hear you enjoyed some of it. Well, we finished that a little early, so I guess we just wait for Messita now. Feel free to do whatever until she shows up. Time for literature club. I wonder what kinds of zany hijinks the kids are up to today. Hijinks is spelled with an X. Hi, everyone.
Monika gets up from her computer where she had been typing.
Hi, Messita.
Messita scans the room. Natsuki and Yuri are in their usual spots reading their usual favorite media. Sayori and MC are quietly showing each other the poems they wrote for the week.
You guys are being very literary today. We're literary every day. Of course. What about you, Monika? What were you working on there? Oh, that! A completely unrelated coding project. I didn't know you code. Yeah, I sure do. Or try to, anyway. Sounds like you've got your hands full. Yeah, extremely. I don't think I'm going to, get it to work. But anyway, literature club. Yes, a literature club. Gather round, everyone, and let's start with poems. What was the poem topic you assigned, Monika? Elizabethan sonnets in the format, or the formal style, rather. How wonderful. Oh, all right. Would like to share first.
Me. I really like this prompt.
All right, let's see it.
Her eyes are like a lighthouse for the sun. I walk across the grass and cover ground. Moving to her, I see the beacon lights. Bright blue they shine and pearlescent and around, guiding me home amidst the darkest nights. Her eyes are like a lighthouse for the sun. She brings infinite warmth and happiness, but hidden is her light, and you must hunt when her cruel mind and her brilliance does repress. At last, you may with persistence arrive, and find yourself the day that brightens dark. Take your reward for confidence and drive. Behold the sun that shines all clear and stark. To love her takes a strength that frightens me, such as I am will try it shamelessly. Such as I am will try it shamelessly. Okay, I probably read that just with the wrong cadence.
That's pretty sweet. And it sounds very Shakespearean as well.
Something about the format, I guess.
Yes. And you also pretty much stuck to the convention for naming the poem, I notice.
Not exactly. I took a line from the poem, but it wasn't the first line.
Still, it was the most representative line. Very good work, MC. And very expensive use of vocabulary. I noticed that too. I didn't think that pearlescent was a word I'd heard outside of a Harry poem anytime soon. Or I'd hear outside of, yeah. I think that sounded the format too. Something about getting stuck in the dumb rhythm makes you think of weird words. And you start to understand why these sonnet writers made some of the fancy word choices they did. Or why even MC would use such a pretentious word. I think that pearlescent is a great word choice for Sayori's eyes, MC. Don't let Natsuki bully you. You would like that word. Well, Sayori, I assume being the subject of an Elizabethan sonnet was a pleasant experience for you? Yes. Brain too fried to give any other feedback? Yes. All right, well, why don't you go next then? What did you write your sonnet about? What you might expect.
Okay.
Knight of Gold. In olden times, the knights would sally forth. They'd slay the dragons in their darkened caves. Fought strong and tall, they'd still have a warmth. Though righteous, still they guard the fools and knaves. My knight is horseless, and he has no sword. no armor bright upon his supple limbs. But still he has to fight a dreadful horde. And still he has in many dungeons been. No fleshy foes he faces, no foul beasts, no dragon that has scales and fiery breath. He fights with monsters scarier at least. To me they are a realer threat of death. A high school boy, the height of chivalry. In my dark times, my shining cavalry.
That was really sweet. I guess I should have seen that one coming.
Of course you should have seen it coming, dummy. I'm much more surprised every time you and Siri don't somehow manage to write a poem about each other.
I think it's lovely that they do that.
Well, yeah, I guess I think it is too. It's just like, I just like to tease them about it. They have all these adorable reactions.
There is a lot of this poem that I don't quite understand. These alternative demons that the protagonist is fighting. I get that the knight is the poem is, or in the poem is MC, but I don't comprehend the metaphor for what he's battling.
That's a secret between me and him. But it's something really scary to me that he helps me with.
Yeah, I understood that much.
Turning to the literary qualities of the poem for a moment, I think it's interesting how despite the strict format, the voices still uniquely Saori's. The fairy tale framing device is very much in her style, and her use of enthusiastic scene-setting exclamatory lines. And her thirsty MC lines about his supple limbs. Okay, that's enough of my poem. Who wants to go next? Statement, not a question. I'll save you. I'll save you from your embarrassment, Sam. The enemy is entropy. The enemy is entropy, I say. The tearing chaos looming over us all. The only foe will never keep at bay. Our doom pronounced within its droning call. A battle makes it stronger, still it grows. Disease for which all cures still endless speeds. All waking minds research, but no one knows to slow it, much less stop it, in its speeds. A loop of time itself might do the work, cycling it back upon itself again. But such a loop shall leave us in a murk. We cannot grow if once we cannot wane. Once they all make a cure for every ill, the last injustice falls upon my will.
I have a feeling I know what that one might be about, but I just had to point this out. You're actually supposed to capitalize is in titles. I did not think this was true for the longest time, but I looked it up, and I was like, oh man, I actually have to.
Ah, a familiar theme for Monica. You mean these very abstract contemplations of the way the world is? Yes. Or more specifically, decaying processes like aging or death or entropy. Basically, she doesn't like them.
Understatement.
Indeed. Anyway, she writes some very compelling poetry about her resentment of impermanence and the nature of reality. I see. I notice you used or as a substitute for over. Very Shakespearean.
I couldn't make that line scan otherwise. And it seemed appropriate for the over of the format. Yeah, like I said, pretentious word choices just kind of happen naturally with this format. I think just the sound of the poem is really pretty. It doesn't sound like a normal kind of fluffy Shakespeare sonnet would. It's kind of cool feeling, like metallic or something. I might not be making much sense.
I think I get it. We're used to sonnets feeling very flowery, I guess. Very organic and full of the beauty of nature.
Yeah, but this is all hard and cold and Monica-like. Gee, thanks. Well, I would think that to you, that would be a compliment.
There we go.
Especially if that's how you'd prefer the world to be in your poetry. Point taken. MC, any thoughts?
I really like the line, the enemy is entropy. The rhythm of that just feels really slick. It has that assonance thing going on. The words are a soft rhyme, and they have the same number of syllables. Very cool.
Thanks. I was kind of proud of that line in particular. That's why I made it the title.
Well, thank you for that, Monica. It was a lovely poem. Irene Natsuki, which one of you wants to go now?
Oh, what's the matter, Natsuki? Don't you want to show us your poem that is probably going to have pretentious words in it?
I will go.
Gotta get the bark. Okay.
Life is like a bamboo shoot. A Philistocles? Stachys? I think that's what it says. Bombshudoids blooms. It happens only once per 80 years, and every bamboo bloom foretells its doom. For after bloom comes death, the forest clears, the beauty hidden deep for decades still awaits the perfect moment to emerge. The patient watchers bide their time until, or the patient watchers rather. At last the plant presents its evening dirge. A life is like a bamboo shoot, you see. It may not have its bloom until the end. You may not know what beauty there may be in one until for decades you befriend. For then, at last, a treasure you'll collect, more valuable than any you'd select.
Oh my god, Yuri! Your poem literally starts with the Latin name for a plant.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, you're just, a pretty unbearable nerd sometimes. Like, who does that?
I do.
Yeah, I guess you do. That's all I've got. Someone else tell her something. Is the poem saying that people only have their best moments just before they die?
I don't think that's it. I think it's more like people have their best selves or the best stuff inside them, and they might not show that to you for a long time, and only with a lot of patience on your part. It might not be so long that it's right before they die like the bamboo shoot, but it will still be a very long time. So just the same as with the bamboo shoot, you have to be patient.
Oh, that makes sense. Lots of Yuri vocabulary in this one, too. Rhyming emerge with dirge, for instance, very Yuri.
But we were saying that this format made everyone want to try exotic words, right? What's different about Yuri's poem?
Well, it's something about the kind of words she chooses. Take emerge and dirge. That isn't exactly the flowery for language you'd expect to see in a Shakespearean sonnet. The words themselves aren't too fancy. They're just a little heart-soothing in a poem like this. And they carry this sense of profundity and maybe even a little trace of horror or revelation. Emerge is kind of a word that implies an ominous or foreboding change. And dirge is downright mournful, which means that the poem gets this kind of serious gravitas to it. And that's what makes it very Yuri.
I see. Well, shall we see what makes up a Natsuki poem?
Guess so. If I were a shark has got to move ahead to live. It cannot breathe without continued swim. I'm envious for what would I not give for a reason to keep going that's so grim. Without it, I feel listless and afraid, and standing still has most appeal of all. And daring not the sun, I stay in shade. I know what I must face, but have no gall. But if I were a shark, I'd have no choice. There's nothing for it but to move along. I'd scream and cry in peace, for there's no voice that carries through the oceans miles long. But I am not a shark, I'm just a girl, stuck coping in this awful, shitty world.
Ah, and there you have Natsuki vocabulary. Swears in a Shakespearean sonnet. I say this with complete sincerity. That is a bold and wonderful style choice.
Thanks.
Of course.
Miss Ida?
Yes?
I'm not, in trouble, am I? For using foul language in the poem.
Goodness, Natsuki, no. It's literary swearing, and that's just fine. You're not being rude or disrespectful of something or someone with it. It's entirely appropriate swearing. Plush gosh, even if it wasn't, I'm not that kind of teacher.
That's true. You're way cooler. Is this about how hard it is to deal with your feelings about your sister? Maybe I'd like to keep it, secret. Who am I kidding? Yeah, it's about that. Well, you do. It's that feeling so wishing that it were at least easier to cope, even if you can't make the pain go away. Yeah.
And if you were a shark, you'd just have to focus on swimming ahead?
Yeah, basically.
Makes sense.
For all the talk about Natsuki turning the sonnet into a pure Natsuki-style poem, she still couldn't resist the allure of some fancy phrasings. Like where she says, daring not the sun. Yes, even I was not immune to the pretentiousness of infection of this poem format. Well, I'm glad you added something new to your repertoire then. That's actually all we had planned for now. So let's just do literary free time for a bit.
See, can we talk outside for a minute?
Sure thing.